Hello guys, and welcome here to the ProDota Cup series by Smashcast TV. We have the only match of the day finally into the playoffs. It is the first match of the playoffs now between Nasty Potatoes and the Mongolz. And you know what that means, guys? If it's the playoffs, it means it's a best of 3. No more best of 2s, guys. It's finally going to be the long series. Apologies for the small technical inconvenience at the beginning. Again, it's node optimization. It might happen at the beginning of the game, so it's going to be part of the recordings, but sadly, we won't miss any parts of the games anyway, so it'll be fine. That said, guys, we are here watching the first match between Nasty Potatoes and the Mongolz. See who gets their first step into the next round of the playoffs. My name is DSwordfish. I will be your caster for today. Let's get right into the draft, shall we? Nasty Potatoes, they ban out the Earth Spirit. Of course, they have to ban out the Proxy Earth Spirit, the Darkseer, the Magnus, and the Juggernaut, picking up a Warlock and a Ricky. Mongolz banning out the Trim Protector, Abaddon. Interesting. Really hate Death Sama. Omni Knight and Legion Commander. They're really banning out Death Sama. They know that he plays these tanky heroes like Omni Knight and Abaddon better than anyone else in the SCA region, and they want to punish him for it. Great bans coming out from Mongolz, and same with Nasty Potatoes, right? They punish out some of the, in this case, Masquerade picks, like Darkseer, I was going to call him Dasquerade. Darkseer and Magnus, and you take away an Earth Spirit as well, so a Proxy can't pick his secure pick. So it seems like both teams have studied each other. They know that they want to win these playoffs, and since now there's much more at stake, they're not going to go for with more goofy drafts, but rather drafts that they're more confident in. Looking at what both teams are offering, Mongolz, Crystal Maiden, Monkey King, one of the most classic combos nowadays at this point, because Crystal Maiden is both a counter and a great hero paired with the Monkey King. So you put her together with him, a bunch of Boundless Strikes, a bunch of Tree Dances and Primal Springs, and you don't lose much mana because of the Arcane Aura. You also have a great ganking duo with the Monkey King and the Crystal Maiden's Frostbite. And more importantly, there's no Crystal Maiden to Crystal Nova you while you're in the trees and suddenly get discovered and destroyed. So Monkey King, Crystal Maiden, classic combo, works well. Finally, in the mid game, you have the Freezing Field plus that Wukong's command, which makes it so powerful for both of them. Honestly, both of them excel with those kind of builds. Then, meanwhile, Mongolz are going to pick up a Nyx Assassin as their off-laner here, and Nasty Potatoes picking up a Lifestealer as a response, perhaps, to what Mongolz has picked up. Lifestealer is great against Crystal Maiden because he blows her up, and the Frostbite's not very effective to stop someone that has a Rage, so you have to wait till his Rage dispels, or just not use Frostbite on him. The Nyx Assassin also does really badly against Lifestealer. Lifestealer eats him up because he's an agility hero, but it gains a very small amount of agility, and the Spike Carpus doesn't really do much against the Lifestealer. Later on in the game, though, the mana burn becomes an issue against Lifestealer, who has a low mana pool, and you can't actually use the Rage. So Nyx Assassin it's good. It works in the same idea as the Crystal Maiden and the Monkey King. You go around ganking, take as many kills as you can in the early game, snowball a bit from there, and try to open the map up for your carrier, for your off lane, or mid in this situation. Now, before we talk about Nasty Potatoes draft and what they have, because there's 20 seconds till this next hero carry or off lane carry. Ursa or Troll Warlord are still available for Masquerade or for Retribution, so they can just pick one of those. The Spectre is also okay against a Lifestealer. If you want to go with that route, and Mongolz is very fine of the Spectre. No, they're going to go for Lina for now. Going for Lina in the mid lane. Okay. Lina's alright against Lifestealer because of a combination of magical and physical damage. Actually allows her to be a pretty powerful hero at many stages of the game. You snowball early with magical damage, and then later on you have the physical damage from your Fiery Soul, or alternatively you go for the Aghanims, and you can still hurt the Lifestealer even though he has the Rage on. So that's Lina is fine. Her high mobility makes her so Lifestealer can be kited easily with her power. Now, Nasty Potatoes, what lineup are they going for? They're going for a mid-game lineup with easy lanes. Lifestealer and Warlock, even though it's on a classic Legion Commander Lifestealer lane, it's one of the most powerful lanes out there. They pick up a Puck now for the mid-game, not surprising. Ponlo pretty much only pays Puck. And you combine it with the Ricky as well to do some ganking and ensuring... The Ricky is more like a trump card, a jack-of-all-trades kind of card. He can go to any lane and be pretty useful there. He doesn't actually require, too much to be successful, only a Poison Orb. And more importantly, the Ricky Maru in this situation also won't need the mana from like the Bounty Hunter needs, for example. So he relies much more on getting kills in the early game just based on his ability of the Cloak and Dagger. Nasty Potatoes then reach a decent mid game with some good towers taken, maybe 1 or 2 towers taken, and a Midas probably on the Lifestealer, a Puck with a Blink Dagger, and a Veil of Discord, and then they dominate Mongolz. That's the plan afterwards, because they take advantage of the fact that Crystal Maiden and Monkey King are okay, but are more of they win more heroes rather than lose less heroes. So if Nasty Potatoes get an upper hand in net worth, they'll be able to counter that Crystal Maiden and the Monkey King pretty easily, especially with a proper Warlock Rock, because you can save it a bit longer, the better off you are, because the puck can just initiate, the Rock doesn't need to come out immediately after, you just want to kill the Crystal Maiden once he has the Freezing Field up, and you also have a Waning Rift and a Smoke Screen, so they have a lot of ways of dealing with this, both ultimates of the Monkey King Crystal Maiden, without sacrificing a stun, which is so valuable in the late game. Talk about stuns though, they only have one, that's the Dream Coil, so the axe have been great for them in the offlane. They need some sort of offlaner that has a stun. The Centaur comes to mind as one of the classics that works great with Lifestealer, gives you a bunch of team fights, so Centaur probably for Nasty Potatoes. Honestly, there's little offlaners that would work as well. They could run a Nature's Prophet, for example, or a they could run a Nature's Prophet, for example, but honestly, it's not as powerful as a Centaur in their current lineup. Mongolz themselves, they do have a bunch of stunts. They don't require that at all. They do require a carry, however. Against Lifestealer, Ursa, and the Troll Warlord are both available. They're both insanely good to deal with Lifestealer. They're also not bothered by the Ricky, or the Warlock, or the Puck, or anyone, because they're insanely strong heroes. I guess to some degree the Ricky's smokescreen does bother the Ursa because he can't enrage inside of it, so yeah, I'll give you that, and you can miss a lot of attacks and get kited, but the Puck has a hard time kiting the Ursa because he just comes in and tries to kill you. He doesn't try to, you know, follow you around. They have a bunch of stunts to make sure that Puck stays in place. So yeah, it's the big issue here is what do you pick, Troll Warlord or Ursa? What do you want to go for? A bit more tower pushing and whatnot? Are you confident in your lanes, or do you want to go for a bit more early game snowball potential where you can really hunt out the Lifestealer? It depends, honestly, on Mongol's choice, and also on their offlaner. Because now Nasty Potatoes probably a Centaur. I want to say it's a Centaur. In which case, the Troll Warlord not so great, and you'd rather go for the Ursa. It deals more damage and less swipes, not so much return damage. Wow, okay, that's another option. Tidehunter, that's actually a really good one. I mean, you rely so much now on the timings of your ultimates, which is bad for Nasty Potatoes. In this situation, you definitely want to go for the Ursa and be able to enrage, or yeah, Ursa, because he does more damage, so he can beat at the Tidehunter sooner. I think the Ursa seems like a really good idea here for Mongolz. They can still run the Troll Warlord, of course, but I really want to favor the Ursa here in this matchup.
Ursa Warrior.
There it is. There it is. No surprise to anyone, at least to anyone listening to my cast. That's why you learn with my cast. Not that hard, honestly. That Tidehunter pick, though, a bit dangerous for Nasty Potatoes. They've been very confident in their lineup. Why I'm saying it's a bit dangerous is because... Oh, actually, sorry about this, but I forgot completely. There it is. Cool. The issue for this is that the Tidehunter and the Puck, I mean, the Puck is a pretty low cooldown spell, but the only stuns being ultimates in Nasty Potatoes' team, bar maybe a Basher that you might grab, makes it a bit difficult, because if they do use all their ultimates in a team fight, the chances are they will, because that's how the meta works right now. You have a much more low cooldown spells, or many more low cooldown spells, ready to attack them as soon as those ultimates go down. And as soon as the Ursa gets Blink Dagger, the Lina even gets Shadow Blade maybe, an Assassin with Vendetta, they could just hunt you down knowing that you have no way of defending yourself. And once the Ursa, Lina, and Assassin, whatever, get a kill, they can just TP away. And there's no way to stop that TP. That's the important part. Then you're going to need a Dream Coil or one of the two other ultimates to stop those TPs. And the Mongolz can take advantage of this pretty well and just get a BKB on the Ursa. Probably not even BKB. I think I would actually go Enrage. No, because I would go for the BKB build, because then you can get rid of the silences, which are the only, I guess, pseudo stuns that this enemy team has, that Nasty Potatoes has, and you punish them for the lack of stuns by grabbing the BKB so early. Okay. We'll see how it turns out, though. It's definitely a bunch of it's definitely going to depend a lot on execution. If Mongolz will put the times for the ultimates in chat, and they'll check for these things. The Mongolz, it's very important that they actually try to remain coordinated and have a really good cohesion when presented against Nasty Potatoes, being able to attack them right at the right times and not face them when it's the right time, right? Because otherwise, Nasty Potatoes can get really easy team fights. They have a much easier lineup to use. You know, you team fight once your ultimates are up, you stop team fighting when your ultimates are not up. Then you win. And Lifestealer wins the late game, and that's it. Mongolz relies a bit more on getting couple kills in the early game, utilizing that Monkey King or that Crystal Main a bit more efficiently, and obviously getting a bit of snowball on the Ursa. It's important that Sanke gets farmed, but also gets a bunch of kills out of it. So that's it, guys. So let's present the teams real quick. My name is DSwordfish. I will be your caster for today. Hope you enjoy the cast as per usual. And let's see what the teams are bringing us today. Mongolz, they have Nyx Assassin played by Masquerade in the off-lane position. In the mid lane, we have Retribution on the Lina. The first support will be the Crystal Main. Second support, played by Ariuka. Second support being the Monkey King, played by Proxy. And then finally, as the carry, an Ursa Warrior, played by Sanke. And now onto the dire side, Nasty Potatoes, the Singaporean team, will be running a Death Sama on the Tidehunter in the offlane position. As the two supports, the Crimson with the Warlock, and the Ricky Maru, played by Eden. As the Gary, a Lifestealer, played by TMT. And finally, on the puck in the mid lane is gonna be the famous Ponlo. The only player I've ever seen that only plays puck at this point. Like, he's gonna make his whole competitive career out of just playing puck. Ponlo. Maybe it might even be worth it. No, it's definitely a BKB game for her. So against the smokescreen, I think you need to go for the BKB. And it stops the Ravage as well. It doesn't stop the stun for the Warlock, but it also stops the Dream Coil. Because the puck usually nowadays doesn't want to go for Aghanims, because he likes to go for more damage build rather than the utility build. Even if he does go for Aghanims, it's usually a late Ags. So you get your BKB in time, and then you should be able to cancel it. Oh, in the top lane, Masquerade is trying to do a creep pull, but this was a terrible idea. They hit him with open wounds. He has Impale, already used it. Masquerade will feed the first blood to Nasty Potatoes, who will be taking that first kill onto the poor Nyx Assassin. That was a terrible play, Masquerade. You completely forgot that the Lifestealer is one of the few carries that can face you easily without a problem. Because his whole skill set is almost, it seems like it's meant to gank or to counter the Nyx Assassin. Why, you ask? Well, Ricky is also going to die to Proxy in the middle lane. That's pretty good. Proxy getting a kill there with a dust. Now go on to Ponlo. Careful. Oh, okay. Ponlo will survive. Alright, let's talk about the Ricky and, the Nyx Assassin, why he sucks against Lifestealer so bad. It's just the fact that he has Rage, which already evades most of your spells. Both Impale and Spike Carpus are impossible to hit a Rage target with, especially Impale, because of the cast point, right? Then Lifestealer also has a stun, a disable, I guess, a slow in this case. That does not deal damage, meaning that he doesn't trigger Spike Carpets, he doesn't need to, right? Which is great. He also gives healing to the enemy, to the support, whoever you're with, so you can't actually play aggressively and go and try to kill the other support, because the Lifestealer will heal him just with open wounds, and he himself gets healing, so all the lane harassment you can muster with Impale, and your Mangoes, etc., will be for naught, because the Lifestealer will heal it all back up. It's honestly one of the worst lanes to deal with as Nyx Assassin, if not the worst. I'd be hard-pressed to find a lane that's worse than a Lifestealer if you're playing Nyx Assassin in the offlane. And the worst part about this is that Nyx Assassin is very used to not dominating the lane, but getting a decent job, or a decent amount of experience here in the lane. He's even stealing the battery root. That's pretty smart, actually. And the reason why you do this because the Nyx Assassin can't really farm jungle, so you have to rely on being able to do decently in lane, to some degree, right? Decently, to some degree. And with a Lifestealer Warlock, that's almost impossible, especially with the healing for the Warlock. Careful, Pro Proxy has the Jingle Mastery, but got a bit too cocky, and Eden will just finish him off with the the Cloak and Dagger, right? Cloak and Dagger, which allows him to deal extra damage and finish the Monkey King. Thanks to the Gush that he got level 1, actually very valuable skill because of the armor reduction. In combination with the Ricky and the Monkey King that has very low armor, level 1, in fact 0, I believe is his base armor. Ooh, you really punish him with a Gush. -3 plus the damage on the Ricky and the low HP that the Monkey King already has. He's actually a pretty easy target. And obviously he had Jingle Mastery there, but he was fighting against a Tidehunter, one of the few heroes that can tank up all those hits from Jingle Mastery. In addition to his Kraken Shell, he's fantastic at his armor is fantastic, so he doesn't have much trouble against it. And I want to go into Sanke, and again, that is a great Gush used again to destroy Sanke. Sanke has to use the Earth Shock, but he'll die anyway to Eden. Proxy jumps in the middle of the smoke screen and will not fight them because he decides, I have no stun, I only have Jingle Mastery, and also, Jesus Christ, this Tidehunter is so scary. So, that was a good choice, Proxy. That was a very good smokescreen. Gush plus smokescreen, deadly combination, keeping the Ursa inside for quite a while. The silence is not as important, but that means that the Ursa can just turn back and start attacking you with the Earth Shock, which is a good idea. And obviously, Dead Sama can always Anchor Smash him to reduce some of the damage if he's trying to harass. That's all at level 2 Anchor Smash to get the extra damage off him. He needs the 1 level of Kraken Shell just to dispel the damage or dispel a stun. But against an Ursa, the Kraken Shell is not as powerful because your damage just mounts up. So even if you do stun him out, and say you stun him out, and it takes away from the Kraken threshold. So in other words, you dispel your stun, then the Ursa can still finish you off simply with auto attacks. Exactly. So going for the Anchor Smash build, Anchor Smash and then 1 level of Kraken Shell, and then maxing Kraken Shell later on allows you to take more creeps in the jungle easily, and that is just the safer way to play, honestly. If you're playing Titan, or get a couple kills in the early game, take advantage of that gush, but afterwards you don't need it at all. In fact, don't go to lane, just stay off lane and try to farm these jungle camps, which respawn in a decent amount of time. You can even stack Ancients if you need to. The Titan has no problem stacking Ancients, so you could do that. Oh, careful, Ponlo. Good boundless strike, catches both of them. Oh. Dragon Slave. Retribution will not be able to get that kill onto Ponlo. Alright, kill for Retribution. The puck can find him any second, and the Illusory plus the Waning Rift makes it a dangerous situation to play as Alina. Though you are used to having lane domination against a puck that can play really well, and we all know how well Ponlo can play. It's not that easy. Even though the Retribution's a pretty good Lina, and it has the Arcane Aura to help him out, it's actually quite hard to beat a puck who likes like Array, but that's a smoke screen right in the last second, so you can't hit him with a Dragon Slave. Puck comes in with a Waning Rift as well. Has an Illusory Orb, will evade some of the Dragon Slave damage, wants to go onto Lilina, goes behind him and says, "Where are you?" Escaping to Retribution. Ponlo's taking a lot of damage by accident. In comes the Monkey King, and he might have played a bit too aggressive, overselling his hand, and punished by Retribution's Dragon Slave. That was good. Honestly, that was good play by Ponlo. If it wasn't because the Monkey King rotated very intelligently, and because the Riki was really low on health and thus couldn't help, it was more of a, it was a good play in a vacuum, but it was not a good play considering the circumstances it was in. He didn't know where the Monkey King was in the map. He knew that Riki could not help him too far. He just got very greedy and thought, I can kill this Lina. And with that, he lost the advantage he got in the mid game. I mean, he actually still has a net worth advantage, so it's not that big a deal. But, obviously you don't want to sacrifice yourself if needed. Nasty Potatoes is getting a surprisingly good amount of farm. If you look at the difference in net worth is quite considerable in their favor, mainly because the Nyx Assassin has been pushed out of this lane by the annoying Life Stealer. God, you hate that here. Sorry, not you. I guess the Nyx Assassin just hates this hero. It's just a horrendous thing to fight against. The puck is obviously being the Lina by ever so slightly. A couple last hits. The kill, I guess, balanced everything out. But more importantly, the Tide Hunter is doing a really good job of farming the jungle. And he's going to be able to get those Garden Greaves and be the carrier that everyone knows. Oh, Masquerade. They use the Shadow Word. Good Spike Carpus. Stuns both of them. TMT still wants to find him. Upheaval also does slows without actually dealing damage. But Masquerade should be able to evade this. In fact, in comes Proxy. Proxy has put himself in a dangerous position. But the Impale plus the Boundless Strike will ensure that Life Stealer cannot actually attack him. And yes, people, I said carrier, not carry. It's an old position that used to be in the game when Razor and Viper used to be very popular. And I'll talk about it in a second because Ponlo's about to die. Yep, the Frostbite to finish him off. He couldn't evade that with Phase Shift anyway. Even though it is technically a projectile, it's really hard to evade, so understandably. But Eden will still try to kill the Crystal Maiden. She has Ancients near her in a Shrine, so he should have died. However, the Titan and the Riki are very committed to this. Eden might just go down to the damage of the Crystal Maiden. There, they got it. Adiuka with one last hit, and this time will have to just walk away. Right, a carrier used to refer back in, I don't know if it's Dota 1 or even the times of Razor and Viper when they used to be things, is the guy who carried all the aura items per se. Used to actually have someone like that. Doom used to play the carrier. It's not actually a role within position 1 to 5, but it used to be a way of playing certain heroes. Tidehunter, Enigma, Viper, Razor, Doom. I can't really think of any more heroes like that. Bristleback to some degree maybe. And you carry all your auras for your team. You go for the Garden Gates. You have superior farming ability, and you don't actually go for any items that benefit yourself. It's just Garden Greaves, going for maybe Vlad's. You've also seen Titan with Vlad's. In this case, obviously the Blink Dagger will still come out, etc., etc. Right? Even in Assault Caress maybe later on in the game. It's a really good position to play. And I always say Tidehunter doesn't get played anymore in competitive, but he still plays that semi-carrier position where he grabs Garden Greaves and just grabs everything into his position. Because back in the day, I remember, back in the Dota 1 days, you used to always, almost every game, carry Mechanism and Pipe. And you used to have 2 heroes for Mechanism and Pipe. There was a couple games when a Darkseer, I don't remember who it was an SCA Darkseer specifically, and he started to carry both Pipe and Mechanism in the same hero. And you're like, what are you doing? If they kill him, they lose all your defensive items. And then that's the carrier position that became. It was actually successful because the guy could just concentrate on those items, and then everyone else could. And obviously the Mechanism and the Pipe then came at a very early rate because the Darkshire could excel that, and from then on, that position was born. The kind of playstyle was born. And that's actually what allowed Razor and Viper to become so successful at one point in the game, because the mechanism was built on both of them, and people loved it. And the Clockwork also back in the day. God, what a great time to be alive. Back when Mecha was actually a useful item, and now just Cardi Greaves. Nowadays it's just Midas. Okay, Masquerade, finding out Crimson. Or in fact, Crimson might be finding it Masquerade. There's the Impale, catches. Oh, that was a really good Impale. Just the last spike has an extra AoE. If people don't know, people that are watching this game and wondering, oh, how did I catch him? The extra spike has an extra AoE. It doubles the AoE. And then the rest of the spikes has double the length and double the width. Which is not too much, mind you, but it's a little bit of an increase. And if you're a good Nyx assassin, you can always land with that last spike. It's pretty satisfying. Oh, Laguna's Blade finishes off the puck. The Ravager is being committed to this Lina, and they will get a kill for a kill. However, that puck dying and them having to commit a Ravage, not too good. Nasty Potato's sad that they had to lose Ponlo there. And he couldn't phase shift any of the damage away because the Light Strike Array was too powerful. Too long a stun. That just ended up finishing them off. I mean, too long a stun, and you combine that with a Laguna's Blade, Dragon Slave, and the damage from Fire, so yeah, I'm sorry, but there's only so much you can do being a pup, right? Well, Eden is invisible and not being targeted by proxy because he can't. Boundless Strike is available. In the mid lane, they actually want to go on to Ponlo. Masquerade is a pretty good heal. There's the Impale. They even don't use the Vendetta damage because they know they don't need it. Ponlo might even survive. No. If he had Fairy Fire or something of the sort. But nah, once the stump came out, Ponlo started walking away like, please, please. And then they just immediately went on to it. Now, they see the Riki here, but they don't know that's an illusion. I don't know, actually. Crystal Maiden should know because her damage is really low. Yeah, that's just an illusion. Let's see, in this bottom lane, we see that Aiden is trying to help out Desa, but they realize where they have a sentry. In fact, they have a sentries a lot of places. The dust is used by proxy, doesn't catch Eden. Everyone is TPing mid, and it seems like they want to help out this Lina because the Life Stealer just took her life. TMT. Being hit by the Boundless Strike, now by the Earthshock, he can dispel someone. Oh, not the Earthshock, actually, it's just the Crystal Nova hit him. He's also been hit by 3 hits of Jingo Mastery, but who cares? This Life Stealer is God right now. He has a Midas too. He's gonna Midas a creep. And TMT, I mean, he's taking quite a lot of damage, especially for the mana burn. Mana burn is really annoying because you can't use rage. You hate when that happens because of the stupid Nyx assassin. And oh, there's a sentry for a sentry. They cut down the Monkey King's tree. That's a 4-second stun. That's a dead Monkey King as well. Proxy made the mistake of jumping in front of a Riki, and the Riki punished it as he should have. Sanke now trying to find out the Riki himself. The Crystal Maiden comes with a smoke, but no dust. And Eden says, hey, I see a very juicy target here. They put some great warding. Very offensive, by the way, which is something that you're allowed to do because you're playing Riki. Otherwise, they would always see you, but Riki is great for warding. You can even use your items without being seen. It's like, I don't know what better support you would expect here. I know Ariuka is being targeted by the Puck. Puck has a haste on anyway. We'll catch him with Waning Rift and a little Zero Orb with the help of Riki. That's a level 6. That is Tricks of the Trade for Mr. Riki Maru. Very happy with that engagement because getting level 6 on Riki is actually so important. Being able to play so much more aggressively because you have that Tricks of the Trade to evade so much damage. It's actually ridiculous. Riki is very powerful played properly. Now Eden decides to TP away. Good job. In the bottom lane, Desaba is getting a bit of harassment from this leader, but he's already maxing Kraken Shell, or he's trying to max Kraken Shell at least. With Anchor Smash already maxed, so it's kind of hard to really finish him off. He gets a lot of... He gets a lot of control out of that Kraken Shell, especially against the Fiery Soul. That's the important part. The Fiery Soul gives you a lot of attack speed, not necessarily too much damage. So you can take advantage of it by honestly just going for a Kraken Shell or Vanguard kind of items. And those items really screw over the Lina in the early game. Even when she gets the plus 50 damage, which is a pretty good amount of damage, you're still blocking mainly the attack speed. It's not like her attack steal that much damage, even with the 50 plus damage. It's more the fact that you hit so fast with a Fiery Soul that it benefits you. So Kraken Shell is really good against her. Never really a counter, but it's Ravage is available, but they can't still use it. The Puck already died, and the Riki's trying to kill Retribution. The Freezing Field comes in from the left side of the field, but in comes TMT, finally gets the Retribution, and they get a kill for a kill right now. Proxy trying to get the tower. Instead it's going to be Ariuka's going to get the last hit. They go onto a tree. They don't see exactly where he is. Ariuka is going to die for, you know, getting that last hit on the tower. They're following him pretty far. That war to give him vision. They could counterattack this somehow. Sanke with the Urso Warrior. Any second could punish that somehow. The Ravage has not been used though, so they could still commit to this. Lifestealer himself has, you know, TMT that's not going to play. Not going to play with the rest of his team. The puck by Ponlo is actually being crushed completely here. If you look at the net worth now, you'll see that the puck is below the Tidehunter. Above the Nyx Assassin, though, so he's not below the enemy team's offlaner because they are winning. Technically, the guys from Nasty Potatoes, in terms of farm, they are winning, especially because this Lifestealer is a great idea to go for a Midas. Let's see. I think the Ricky will... Oh, they did see him. They did see him. However, he's going to come in anyway, and he's ballsy about this. They have another sentry. They do see the Ricky, but he comes with a surprise, so he might just go into the Lina. There it is. The smokescreen used. The Lina can actually use any spells. Battle Strike does not hit the Lifestealer because he was enraged. Oh, he was raged the whole time. The smokescreen catches the Ursa on the backlines, but Eden has been dusted and destroyed as the puck comes in from behind. Tries to stop the initiation from Proxy and Masquerade, and does so with a great Dream Coil plus Waiting Rift. Sanka's about to die, though, but they leave the Lifestealer alone. He has to arm with Toggle. Somehow the Ravage catches up the Ursa the last second, saving TMT and leaving the Ursa to die. Masquerade with 60 HP survives, which was for a couple more seconds. The Waiting Rift is available. In comes the Impale. They still have the Anchor Smash. They missed the Anchor Smash. He uses the Spike Carpus, but no, Illusory Orb to finish him off. Ponla won't die to the annoying Frostbite. That Sama still has a Gush. Wants to go on Ariuka. With the help of TMT, would definitely be possible. They have the Phase Boots and the Open Wounds, but no, the Open Wounds will take too long to get off cooldown, and yeah, we're just wasting a Gush on that. It's not worth it. I'll take a tower instead. The guys from Mongolz lose a lot in that engagement, though. And they give Ponlo back all that gold that they lost. He's only 100 gold away from the Lina, whereas Lifestealer continues to snowball endlessly, going for Heaven's Halberd as his next item. That is lovely. He said in this team fight, you know what, guys? I think I almost died. I had a near-death experience, and I'm going to learn from this near-death experience. I am going to learn and adapt my build to this near-death experience, because they just need to use Ravage to save a Lifestealer from an Ursa. That is definitely not what you want happening in your games. However, what happened that did work pretty well for the guys at Nasty Potatoes is the fact that they now learn that the Ursa can destroy the Lifestealer in seconds, so he's going to go for a Heaven's Halberd to prevent that from happening again. Even if he uses Enrage, you halberd him and you're set, and you also get that extra Sanjay attack, you know, the maim, and more importantly, the evasion, which is so valued. In fact, it's so valued right now. Evasion is so high up that Solar Crest was bought on almost everyone. So that's how powerful evasion is. Monkey King is still trying to go for those Phase Boots. 16 minutes in, this Monkey King has been doing nothing. He's been doing nothing this game because the Crystal Maiden and Monkey King combo wasn't really that effective at getting kills early on, and that's really what they rely on. Whereas the Warlock is happy having no farm because he is a Warlock after all. He's still going for Midas, obviously, but he's happy. He's okay having no farm. And the Ricky has managed to get a couple kills and be pretty effective in the early game. Both the Crystal Maiden and the Monkey King did not take advantage of that early game too much. For a lot of reasons, mind you. One of those reasons being the fact that the enemy team, Nasty Potatoes, was playing pretty well around their carries and not letting anyone kill them, mind you. And Mongol still got a decent amount of kills, but if you look at the Crystal Maiden's participation, she participated in half the kills. Similarly, Monkey in half the kills. It's okay, but it's not particularly great, especially because they kill him so quickly in the team fights. Okay, Ponlo has a double damage, and they do see him. There goes the Monkey King. Jumps up to Ponlo. What are you doing, Ponlo? What were you doing up there? Just enjoying the view, and now hope he's enjoying his death. And we're waiting for Death Sama to have a Ravage. They can still fight this, though. They still have a Lifestealer. And then goes the Ricky, finds Retribution, Smokescreen again, that combo. Ravage even catches her out. Lina's dead first. They want to go on the Ursa, but the Enrage is to be used. He does take it with Roshan, and he will grab the Aegis in time. Now, the tricks of the trade will be coming up by the Ricky Maru. Going out to Sanke. Sanke about to go down thanks to TMT. One last hit, but they just want to brought up his Aegis first. Now Ariuka, hit by the Gush, no armor, and Tidehunter alone will finish her off the Smokescreen to make sure that Sanke can't use any of his abilities. That was pretty good. He has no Blink Daggers. There's no way he can leave this area of Roshan. He did buy it before he dies now, though, and TMT with the Infest to ensure that they can kill Ursa without him dying. That is another team wipe for Nasty Potatoes. Sure, they lose the puck at the beginning of that engagement, but Ponlo, that was all calculated. He went, killed himself, gave extra gold to the enemy team, so they were worth more for Nasty Potatoes when they were going to be killed. No, I'm kidding. But in all honesty, it was a pretty good fight regardless. Nasty Potatoes there, even evading the Ursa or preventing his Aegis from being effective by putting a Smokescreen very well placed by the Ricky. Honestly, the Smokescreen is fantastic for this Roshan pit, but he placed the Smokescreen right here. And that made it, even though it's a Smokescreen that's only level 1, right? It has a pretty long duration, right? In 6 seconds. So Ursa dies, they manage to kill him with the Smokescreen, boom. Or Ursa has the Aegis, sorry. They're really close to dying. He actually, I'm going on Crimson now. Oops. Yeah, he's really close to dying, whatever. And Lifestealer is like, okay, I can either concentrate on the Ursa or go on to the, I think it was the Warlock, or sorry, the Monkey King that was around. Whatever other hero, I forgot, one of the 2 supports that was around. And I can either destroy the Ursa, wait for his Aegis to come back up and just woo, and then come back and destroy me, or alternatively ignore him while the smoke screen is still up, and then kill the other supports. And that's exactly what he did, and that was exactly the right choice. So good job by TMT deciding to do that. Oh, good TP. A very wise choice to rage TP there. And that also gets the enemy, or the Tidehunter, a lot of time to TP away. Or not the Tidehunter, the Warlocks. So, well, no, I think it was a Tide, actually. Yeah, I think it was a Tide. Why, you may ask? Well, because when the rage TP comes out, there is that moment of confusion, that moment you think, ah, I wish I could have gone to Lifestealer. You don't immediately think, oh, let's go for whatever else is around there. So the Tidehunter has more time while the Lifestealer is still visible. He doesn't use the Rage. You have to use the Rage to evade the Boundless Strike, or to evade the possible Boundless Strike. And that way the guys at Mongolz decided, well, they concentrate on him too long, and at that point they lost the possibility of being able to catch a Tidehunter in the middle of his TP. Which is wise. It's very smart by both players. Nice coordination. Alright. Eden might be joining the middle lane and going out of Yuka, deciding it's not a good idea. Proxy just jumping from tree to tree. And Ricky's is giving him some valuable information right now. No more aggressive wards as we've seen there. There's no sentries here, which is surprising. Or, you know, around this area either. This is a great place to put wards when you're trying to play aggressively. In fact, the ward over here, or right around here, is the right spot, and then boom, you can see pretty much all of their shrine and a bunch of other things. Oh, careful. Little Crystal Maiden is just... she's cannon fodder for TMT now. With the usage of this Heaven's Halberd, you get the extra maim, so you don't even need open wounds to get a kill. It's pretty nice. You don't get the extra movement speed that Sanjay Asha gives you, but you do get a bit more survivability with the Sanjay, so I think it's a good trade-off. Oh no, if he didn't find Sanke. Oh, they do find him. They ask some of the present inside though, and there's the present coming out. The empty used the rage in time. They disarmed the Ursa, no more enrage for him. They already used the Ravage. Sanke is not gonna start fighting out, but the Golem is finally coming out. Dream Coil catching out Sanke. Life Strike Array though stops the Lifestealer for a couple seconds. Sanke wants to kill him in time. The Lucuna's Blade's even committed, but they don't have enough damage. They now stun the Monkey King by using the Quelling Blade. What a play to finish him off his Wukong's command. TMT with a Rage, impossible to beat him. Destroys the Crystal Maiden in almost 4 hits. Still has the Heaven Halberd. He's gonna be impaled to the ground. That Life Strike Array. They want to kill him off. The Titan trying to help. They managed to blow up the Lina, but at the same time the Lifestealer dies in Masquerade. The only member left alive of the Mongolz. The only thing that's stopping Paulo from getting that team wipe. He's so anxious. He has a Blink Dagger. He could just finish him off, but he's wary of that Smite Carpus. And instead, he's going to go in, try to Waning Rift it. Oh, he's going to take the tower instead. Very clever. And he jaunts to the orb right after the tower goes down. Now the Dynamite is available onto Ponlo. He's going to start experiencing that gold boost as well. Sadly, the Lifestealer had to die there, but he did quite a lot. And blowing up the Lina there was pretty worth it, especially taking away her Bloodstone charges. Sure, she still got a kill, and she didn't lose that many Bloodstone charges, but, well, she actually lost a considerable amount, because she's down to 9 now. So, yeah, they can take advantage of this. Pretty happy with that engagement, I think, if you're Nasty Potatoes. You're not winning by too much, you're not asserting domination completely, but those Ravages have clearly been good. And as we've seen, Mongolz is not playing between the Ravages. They still go in every time, and every single time they fight, there's a team fight, there's a Ravage, and usually a Rock. The Golem, the Chaotic Offering from the Warlock. You know, that, I keep calling it Rock or Golem, or Drop the Base. I'll call it a bunch of things. I know the name. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's the Chaotic Offering. But that ability is always off cooldown whenever they fight, and so is the Ravage, and that should not happen. Obviously, the Dream Coil is going to be off cooldown. It's a pretty low cooldown spell, 65 seconds, only a minute. You can't fight between minutes, especially because your own ultimates actually last the same amount, right? But you have to fight between Ravages. Look, this is a really smart spell gank, knowing the Ravage is not up, but they have no offensive vision, so they can't take advantage of it. In fact, this is the only offensive vision ward they have, and they know that there's nobody around here. They've even been scanned out, so yeah, Mongol, sorry about that. That was not too great. They do have offensive vision, but I do see a bunch of times where a team will smoke up, see, you know, they see around this area. Let's see around this whole area, and they see nobody there, and they think, right, let's go there. No, right? I guess the idea is here, at least we have a ward. So, if the smoke gang fails, we take an objective, and that's still fine, and that's not a bad idea, that's true. But you're not currently winning the game, so wouldn't you rather take kills and then objectives, rather than try to take objectives directly? But oh well. Masquerade survives that attack by TMT just by Spike Carpusing, Vendettaing, and he should be okay. Ponlo himself will just be taking his tower down, taking advantage of that plus 50 damage, sorry. He gets a level 2, or level 15. level 2 plus 50 damage. That's ridiculous. Right. No, Proxy jumping around. Not going to be found out. The rest of Nasty Potatoes decide to check for Roshan, but there's still a couple minutes, 1 and 40 seconds exactly, till Roshan may respawn back. The Tide already has his Guardian Greaves. He went for Blink Dagger first for the extra initiation because they realized that they were fighting with Ravage all the time. And now with Guardian Greaves, he's going to be more tanky. Be able to take the root off as well and be able to heal the Lifestealer if he's really low on health. Because if you heal the Lifestealer just enough so that they can survive the Lightstrike Array and Laguna's Blade, Dragon Slave combo, etc, etc, etc. If he's caught out by one of the stuns, then the Lifestealer should probably survive the team fight because he has the Armlet toggling, the Heaven's Halberd, and of course the use of the Infest and the Rage, so he doesn't get hit by any other skills. So the Guardian Greaves, the extra bit of healing it gives you, especially the healing in area when you're very low. As you can see, if an allied hero health, if an allied hero's health falls below 20%, they receive 15 health regeneration and 15 armor. Most people don't actually know this for some reason, but Guardian Greaves is really useful for that. And the Lifestealer, when he's low on health, in other words, Unholy Strength, is activated, and he's just armlet toggling his way to victory. Then that's when he gets the extra regen and extra armor, which is fantastic in Selena, that relies on her physical damage to be able to kill a Lifestealer. And Lifestealer doesn't really have like nice armor anyway. Oh, they caught a Crystal Maiden, but her sister is the important factor. There it is, Retribution going down thanks to Napo's damage. Nasty Potatoes, I don't know why I called them Napo there. And with this, they'll be able to push down some towers. Perhaps this tier 2, or tier 3, sorry, in the mid lane. Masquerade wants to get a stun out. They actually catch out Ponlo. Ponlo's going to go down first. The open wound's not going to do much against Sanke, but his enrage has been wasted. They actually can't do much for this, though. In the end, they just lose a puck again. Again, losing the puck. And not being able to capitalize much on that kill. Which is unfortunate if you're them. And Sanke with the BKB now up. Happy bear. That BKB is going to help him a lot in team fights. No, it's a 10-second BKB, so he actually has a lot of time to be able to do a ridiculous amount of damage to Nasty Potatoes team. And since you have a Blink Dagger already for mobility, you're pretty much set this game. You don't need much else. Masquerade is going to be vendetting away, trying to get some vision of the enemy team, and probably, maybe, I don't know, be found, I think, because this is just committing suicide. Masquerade, careful. Yeah, exactly. If they do find him with a sentry or something of the sort, he could be in trouble. I love that Rook using the Ricky as the bomb and never the puck. So one day they're going to come with him with a puck. It'll just be a surprise. Oh, there they go onto Sanke. Smoke screen, but doesn't quite catch him. The BKB's already been used. Sanke needs to survive. He has the enrage still available. Want to go with the puck, and the puck is already dead. Somehow Ponlo managing to die every single team fight. Ponlo, what is up with you, my man? I know that you are playing a bit sacrificial, so for your Lifestealer and for your Tide Hunter, but it's too sacrificial. You're playing too aggressively. These guys are taking advantage now of your kind heart and just using you as feed, and that's not good. Okay, you're providing catering to the enemy team. You need to change away. Masquerade goes up top. Actually, one of the best ways to deal with a Tide Hunter, taking away his mana so he can't use the Ravage. So that's a good way of keeping him in check. Mongolz, meanwhile, go into the top lane with a smoke gank. This is really fast Ursa, by the way, just with phase boots. Jesus. And if they catch Crimson, not a big... Actually, yeah, that's Chaotic Offering God. Frostbite available. There is the help from the Tree Dance. And yeah, Primal Spring, Tree Dance, and now the Freezing Field even committed just to get the kill onto Crimson. I don't think that was that worth it. The Tide Hunter TP'd immediately. As soon as he saw his friend die, he's like, nah, I'm out of here. Going for a Refresher next because he thinks that he needs a double Ravage. Oh no, that's entirely true. With a BKB, the concern here is not that you can Ravage twice. I guess getting that long second stun, I suppose, is not a bad idea. Being able to do 2 of them is also pretty good. I'm a big fan of the Aghanims though this game, because the enemy team doesn't have much armor. You can really punish that. The Monkey King, low armor, even though he has a great agility game. It's really just a Buckley that's giving him armor right now, because he's going for Crimson Guard. The Ursus doesn't have particularly the best agility game in the world. In fact, for agility hero, it's quite low. So you can punish that fact, even if you went for Vlad's. With Alina similarly. And you have a Lifestealer. You have a Lifestealer. Jesus Christ. A hero that benefits so much from the minus armor. And look, the Aghanims did come out on Alina. She decided not to go for the right-click build for now. And instead decided to go for a bit more magical damage. In this case, I guess pure damage. Okay. Is the Monkey King... okay, he has Death Wish. Monkey King has Death Wish. He just jumps into the middle of creeps. They catch him out. There's the tricks of the trade being used. Now they go on to Masquerade. They think it's a better target. They have in no way of stopping him. Finally, the Golem being committed. Even the Dream Call. Masquerade will go down first, but that is a whole Wukong's command being used. He's trying to kill this Lifestealer. Good use of the Heaven's Halberd, but the BKB dispels it. The Lifestealer is going to go down first, and they can't kill Proxy. Even that guy is still alive. What an annoying Monkey King. Finally comes that Sama, finishes off Proxy, but Crimson is suffering here against the damage from Sanke. Even with the Ravage coming out, it's not going to help him too much. They're trying to kill off Ariuka at the very least after dying, after losing 3 already. The guys are Nasty Potatoes are trying to finish off Retribution. They've been ignoring the Ursa the whole time, and he denies himself in the end. Now Ponlo says, okay, we've ignored him for long enough. Let's go kill him. The Gush is still available in a couple seconds. He has no rage for 9 seconds and no BKB at all. The Puck doesn't want to go in front of him though, because he's a bit too afraid of what the Ursa might do. He could have gone in with a Waning Rift Gush, and they could have played very aggressively, but there, he gets punished. Oh, Sanke, careful with the Enrage. Oh, the Puck catches him in between the trees, and they sandwich the Ursa. I am pretty sure someone has to call PETA, because that was some animal rights abuse. Ursa being taken down by the power of Punlo. He actually recovers quite a lot thanks to that. He goes for a BKB straight up. What? Why is that sound happening? Okay. They go onto this Roshan. Roshan going to be taken down by both Ponlo and Sama. They decide, yeah, this is a pretty bad option. Now the bomb is finally coming onto the Puck. That's really smart. That is really smart. Use the Lifestealer bomb to try to get a kill onto the Ursa, the Monkey King, or whatever. Right. Sorry about that, guys. Just fixing some technical issues, making sure that everything is okay. Everything is okay. And with this, continuing the game for Nasty Potatoes. Honestly, TMT is now went for the Assault Caress, so he's pretty much set. He doesn't really have any more items he can get to become stronger. Right now, TMT is just being targeted constantly, and now it was Ponlo that's shown that it was the light through the end of the tunnel, really. Ponlo showing off that he actually can be really effective as a second carry. Careful, though. And the bomb is coming to Ponlo, so this could still be an alright initiation if they don't catch him out immediately. He has a Blink Dagger and a BKB available, so... Oh, there it is. The Crystal Maiden, they see her. Could use the phase shift, blink away. They don't want to fight this. Like, they're going to fight this! They are! Zanke is actually being caught in the middle of this and forced to use Enrage and BKB at the same time. Not what you're looking for. The Enrage is finally dispelled, and Lifestealer's like, hey, it's my turn to start hitting him. The Opening Wounds comes out. He can't hit anyone because they have its Halberd. The Ursa is dead, and Nyx Assassin has been silenced to the backline. That was a great Monkey King ultimate, but it only helped them to zone out. Now with the Warlock coming and throwing the rock down, they're ready to kill Retribution. The rage is ended, but they don't need it at all as they finish off that poor Lita, and Masquerade blinks away without grabbing that gem of True Sight. And that's gonna be Nasty Potatoes losing 2, out of which one is a Puck and one is a Ricky, and they take a carry and a mid hero as a result. Only Proxy surviving there. He might want to do something here. In fact, this is a terrible idea because I might have seen this. And yeah, they'll be taking down 4 people. Warlock, Lifestealer, and Titan Hunter. Easy mana burn. Now catching out Masquerade. Oh, the Spike Carpus, not going to help him too much against the open wounds. But there's the Freezing Field. He has no rage because he lost all his mana. The Ravage has to be committed, and they use the Ravage to finish off the Freezing Field and also kill off a free Monkey King. Whereas Masquerade, only one left alive. Ricky says, why not? Why not Masquerade? He seems like a juicy target. He starts Phase Boots. One last Blink Strike would finish him off, but instead, they just had to go for the Roshan. Ursa's missing, they say. The Ursa's coming back. He just bopped back. The Monkey King bopped back to try to do this, but in the end it didn't work out. The Ghost Hunter and Tide Hunter's giving him a lot of time. He still has the Garden Greaves, hard to kill. They want to help him out, but TMT barely has any gold right now. They any HP, sorry. They have the help though from the Garden Greaves, and they still want to fight this. What is TMT doing? He has the Aegis, but he wants to go to Sanke. They win Dream Call on to 3, and they stop the Nyx Assassin, kill the Ursa, and Proxy has been tied down to the floor like a circus monkey. And Retribution will now be the last target of aggression. I don't know if they want to follow this. They don't have any ways to slow him, so in the end, I think they're just going to continue. That was a wasted buyback by the Monkey King, a destruction of the Ursa, and all in exchange for a Tide Hunter. So worth it. Even the Aegis didn't get used by TMT. And now Pondo we'll be taking out a couple creeps down the bottom lane. That's pretty good. Ensuring that he gets a bit more of form after those team fights that have been so intense for Nasty Potatoes. They're quite happy, honestly, with how the game is going right now. In fact, I'm quite surprised because I did very much like the draft from Mongolz. I think that Ursa pick was really good, the Lina pick was really good. But in the end, like I said, the execution matters a lot. And how this Lifestealer and this Puck has been playing has been amazingly. Pong, though, it seems like he's playing really badly, but he's actually creating a lot of space by killing himself constantly and by letting himself be the sacrificial lamb. He's gone for a utility Puck, acknowledging his role in the game, saying, okay, I'm actually dying a lot. This enemy team has a lot of ways to stop me. I go for BKB. That way, the Lifestealer has survived quite a lot. And you compare the Lifestealer 15, 2, and 10 to the Puck's 4, 9, and 14. Imagine if every single kill that the Lifestealer had, or every single death the Puck has, it would be on the Lifestealer. Because they're equally as easy to kill with an Ursa, honestly. They just don't decide to go on him because it's much harder to initiate upon with his Infest and his Rage and all that stuff. And the Puck seems like an equally good target. But in the late game, all that matters is if your Lifestealer is farmed or not. If the Puck has Midas, he's going to get the 420 gold per minute anyway. He's going to be perfectly fine. So stopping his net worth is not going to help you at all. Now, Retribution is going to pick up a Boots of Travel. A Shiva's Guard as well for her. That's really needed to start kiting the Lifestealer. That's very important. Being able to hit the Ricky and the Puck for extra damage is not bad, but start kiting the Lifestealer. That is something that Lena needs to start doing with the Fiery Soul, the armor. Yeah, it works out well. Alright. Basher is Abyssal. Abyssal is the next item for TMT. Okay, that looks pretty good. And, I mean, he doesn't have it yet, but the Visual Blade will come out the Ricky, though. That's actually really useful to kite down the Ursa. I love the Ghost Scepter pickup by Death Song, by the way. Before he finished the refreshers, had to go for the Ghost Scepter. I like that very much. In fact, it saved him against the Ursa, gave him enough time to force the enemy team, in this case Mongolz, to overextend it and punish them. Ursa has the Visual Blade, though, so the Ghost Scepter is not that effective anymore, but still, you have the Heaven's Halberd to stop the Ursa, the Ghost Scepter. They acknowledge, and this is something that's also really smart from Nasty Potatoes and why they're such a good team. They strategize within the game, and they acknowledge that the draft that Mongolz drafted. Oh no. Oh no, the Lina. They purged off that Yule Scepter. She's gonna have to commit suicide. That's a dead Lina, and she hasn't had buyback. They're going to try to go for her sister, but Ariuka, well, actually, it might not be that hard to kill. In fact, the king goes to Bariki. They even use the smoke screen. They can't use any stuff from the Nyx Assassin. Lena's still silenced. One more hit from the Puck, but can't really finish him off. The illusory orb will catch her out. Drive-by shooting, says the Puck. As he finishes off the Lena, they drop the base onto Masquerade, and Masquerade is going to die against Team NT's damage. They can't even use the Impale. Now the Monkey King is going to be the next victim. Sanke already activated his BKB. The Ravage is available. This is really dangerous for Sanke. He has the Enrage, so must have to use it right as the Ravage comes out. They Heaven's Halberd him, and the Enrage won't dispel that. He has to use the Diffusal Plate defensively. Sanke, please just give up. He's running away from a certain death, and they're going to end up catching a Nasty Potatoes, taking down the Rax in the mid lane, and possibly even the Rax in the top lane, actually, because this lane's already pushing up. Yep. With the golem from Crimson, it's pretty easy. Even a Solar Crest, they need to push some high ground, and of course the damage from the Lifestealer. Right now, Nasty Potatoes are taking the Rax. I mean, are taking every building in the base. There's little that Mongolz can really do. In fact, all they can do is buy back on the Ursa, hope to defend this once the Monkey King comes back, and try to utilize the Lina a bit more efficiently, because the Lina, right now, with 4 Bloodstone charges, if she's dead, they're dead. You know, they're gone. She's dead forever. And there it is. Dream Cold catches her out. That's exactly what we're talking about. She used it herself. They can't dispel it this time, but they had the Guardian Gates to save everyone else in their team. That's a dead Lina for 70 seconds. The GG comes out. Mongolz says, please, just let us win at least one game of this best of 3, and we'll be happy. That was an utmost domination by Nasty Potatoes. The Singaporean team will take the first game of this best of 3. But let's not forget, Mongolz still has a second chance to come back. That second game, if they tie it, it allows them to go to a third one, which allows them to win this best of 3. So they're not out yet, guys, and that means there's tons of other games to be watched today. Well, tons, I say 2 at max, but you know, tons. And for that, I would wish that you guys would stay here at the Smashcast TV channel so they can watch the rest of the games. We'll be back shortly with them, only like a brief 5-minute pause. My name has been DSwordfish. Hope you've enjoyed the cast as per usual. If you did, feel free to follow me on Twitter, and if you didn't, feel free to tell me why in the comments below. I will be now going to create the lobby. I'll enjoy some tunes while we wait, and I'll see you guys next time with some more Dota 2.
Show you how, I could show you